You know, I go back to this thing at the Washington Star about what it was you did as a reporter, and that was you tried to find out all the facets of a story, like all the complexities of it, and you had an obligation to be not judicial, but judicious, to be fair, but also that doesn't mean 50-50. If you know the President of the United States is lying, and here's one of the problems, we need to have stories that say, one way or another in the second paragraph, the President of the United States is lying by saying on January 3rd he said X, on January 5th he said Y.
No one writes
We
that.
don't do that. Now, some people do, but you need to do it day after day after day if you think that's what the news is. And I think in this presidency, that's what the news is. I think the news of the Bush presidency is the statements of Condoleezza Rice, the statements over and over of George Bush, of Cheney, of Rumsfeld, of Bremer, and ad infinitum that have turned out to be not truthful, and not because of lack of knowledge, but because they deliberately manipulated what they knew to be otherwise, or they were incompetent. And that's another part of the story, is the incompetence of that's a real story. Now, we've never had this problem, perhaps, of a president whose competence, his basic competence is questionable. I'm not sure we've ever had to deal with that before. But take the example of this president getting up and saying, well, we never knew that Katrina could breach the levees. And then the AP has got a video of the guy being briefed by the guy down at the Hurricane Center,
yeah.
and saying, you know, the levees could go.
That's right.
Why isn't that? That is part of the journalistic agenda. And so that is news. So the most important thing we do is what we determine as news. That's what's changed.
And then, of course, there was a time you were subpoenaed by the Republican National Committee, and your notes somehow end up in the possession of one Katharine Graham.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what happened. Yeah, well, that's what happened. I got a call. I think I got the call that there was a subpoena server in the building, and I told Bradley, and he said, get out of here.
Go see a movie.
And where are your notes? And I said, they're in those file cabinets there. And that's my recollection. You better check it against Bob's and Ben's. And I went out and I went to see Deep Throat, the movie. And when I came back in, the subpoena, you know, they didn't look, you want to subpoena somebody, subpoena Katharine Graham, and she's ready to go to jail if you want to mess with that.
Well, which is a great metaphor, because frankly, honestly, in the last 30 years, it's hard to think of an owner who would have put herself on the line for the journalism of the enterprise.
The great thing, you know, that again, the Pentagon Papers figures in this, that the New York Times had shown itself willing, you know, to go to jail if need be, the owners of the Times, and in the Pentagon Papers, and then the Post had done the same, and then came this, and we were blessed with this publisher.
You really were.
And who extraordinary.